there's a South African constitution, there's international law.
Yes.
What works? How do you ensure that the Constitution of South Africa abides with the international law? If the Constitution of South Africa does not abide or is not congruent with the international law, then what does it mean? South Africa is delinquent? Or what does it mean? Clarify these things for us, man. I'm not a lawyer, so and you're coming okay. I'm getting clarity on what you're saying. Historical and even in law, I'm really enlightened here.
I wouldn't say I'm a lawyer. Okay? I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm a student of law. And I qualify to speak on international law, especially international humanitarian law and international criminal law.
Yeah.
I see to Section 233 of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Section 233 of the Constitution. Ngicela ungifunele yona mnakethu mhlambe ungifunzele yona ungitshele ukuthi ithini le section leyo. Whilst usayifuna asi-analyze ithi le section the South African courts, right, must conform to the provision of international law. It's a must. So the Constitution recognizes international law. Section
233
of the Constitution. It's in
application of international law.
Yes.
When interpreting any legislation, every court must prefer any reasonable interpretation of the legislation that is consistent with international law.
Yes.
Over any alternative interpretation that is inconsistent with international law.
I know that you're not a lawyer, but this is English. You'll be able to interpret what it says. It's simple.
Yeah. When interpreting any legislation, every court must prefer any reasonable interpretation of the legislation that is consistent with international law over any alternative interpretation that is inconsistent with international law. To a layperson, it basically puts the international law above everything else.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, Lomnage to law is senior counsel. There is nothing above the Constitution, meaning it's unemanga. Oh, I think it's your policies. It's not true. The Constitution is not the supreme law of the country. Never. Now, Funza Section 233.
Yeah, of course. And just to divert a bit, is this why other countries do not have constitutions? Like, what's this country? Britain? Does it have constitution? No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
That's
for the benefit of.
That's a very important.
Lay people.
That's a very important question you're posing, right? Constitution means you are constituted. You are made by law. You are de jure.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Now, King Charles is de facto. He cannot be constituted. He constitutes.
Okay.
No,
I'm following.
So he doesn't need constitution because he is not constituted by that charter. Okay,
I get you.
So now sovereignty, you must have a constitution, and that constitution itoba is sovereignty yakho. Ngla bantu ba phambana khona bangayi understand ilento ukuthi ihamba kanjani. That's why Britain inganayo a constitution. Because the king constitute, he cannot be constituted.
Simple explanation.
It's simple as that. So he constituted because he was not discovered. Yeah. See, now we were discovered. Kumele sibe constituted.
Oh yeah.
The provision, the principle of discovery.
Okay. I get you.
Which comes from Dam Diversus and Romanus Pontifex. The doctrine of discovery. Ngiyo le constitutago because basithole singekho. Then they constituted us.
Okay. Yeah.
Mara bamtholile uxetshwayo angisho.
Yeah, exactly. So try whoever bebakhona. Makhosi lo wakhona.
Kungako uZwelibanzi said, I cannot be ruled by these people. Abam understand. Now I'm putting this into perspective. Zwelibanzi cannot be constituted. He constitutes. He has to constitute because he's the king. He's got the same status with King Charles. That is the status Saga Zwelibanzi.
So if the Constitution of South Africa subjects monarchs, then it basically takes their powers away from the Constitution. It basically, they are subjects to the Constitution, in essence.
I'm not going to say pins.
Yeah.
It's mina ngakshaya. Then the witness giving you a case.
Yeah.
Bayofuna the victim.
The victim, what was the victim?
So the indigenous monarch in this country had, through the passage of history, had not stood up. The last king that actually stood and tried to fight the system was King Zwelibanzi's father.
Yeah.
Sabata.
Yeah.
When he fought the imposition by the apartheid state through Matanzima. He was even arrested for defending his sovereignty.
Yeah.
The one king before Sabata, Bogui chief, from the Zulu Nation in 1909. Bambata.
Bambata.
Bambata Gamanginza.
Yeah.
Was fighting invasion and occupation and basically annexation because they had started to impose taxes.
Yeah, the poll tax.
Yes. I'm not going to colonialism in a steps out 3 before colonialism. The first step, it's invasion. You invade.
Yes.
The second step, you occupy.
Yes.
Once you occupy, now you're very comfortable. You start making laws. You annex. Then, you made laws and you are very comfortable. You feel good. Now you're home. It's called colonialism. Now the foreign laws and everything is ruling the indigenous people. But throughout the struggle of the indigenous people talk of colonialism. They don't talk of invasion, which is ground zero. No one. No one. Now, why are they not talking of invasion?
Yeah.
Why are they talking only of colonialism?
Yeah.
Why are they not talking of occupation?
Yeah.
Which crime is bigger between apartheid and invasion? Which crime is bigger?
So this should be invasion.
Now, why are you making apartheid a bigger crime when there's a real big crime that's invasion and you're ignoring it as if it never happened or it never existed. Ubokhumbula ukuthi if there was no invasion, there was never going to be apartheid.
Yeah.
Indigenous people will continue as indigenous people and indigenous monarchs, living without problems.
Yeah.
Now, why are you living ground zero? It's a systematic thing. It's a psychological thing through the path of history, so that everybody else should focus on apartheid and forget invasion and occupation. Because invasion and occupation, it's a bigger crime.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example in the modern day politics.
Yeah.
In 2022, was it 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine?
Yeah.
There is a huge cry globally of that invasion.
Yeah.
And His Excellency Putin was even, issuing a warrant of arrest.
Yeah.
Who was issuing a warrant of arrest for invading our monarchs?
No one. Yeah.
Maybe the indigenous kingdoms should take that case back to the ICJ. Why don't we just ruffle feathers? Let the monarchs take the matter back to the ICJ to say, listen, we were invaded.
On their own.
On their own. Because they're the ones. So the political parties or the liberation movements are just witnesses. They don't have the locus standi in the matter.
Yeah.
Organizations like ANC, PAC, AZAPO, they don't have the locus standi in the matter. It's not their matter. All of these guys in those political parties are subject to those monarchs. So they become witnesses. In this matter, Sufunabani, the victim. Who is the victim? The monarchs. So surely. We are in this situation in the so-called South Africa because of invasion, not because of apartheid. Apartheid in 1948.
It came years later.
Imagine the distance between 1st of March 1510 and 1948. How many years? You do your calculations.